been a crazy weekend, you know, a lot of happenings, a lot of goings on. Probably may not end up in the media cycle, but we are here. We are here to keep it on public record that last week, UON Don Joseph Migai Aketch, he wrote an email to his colleagues and he said, I have received a lot of nonsense on this subject of promotion in the last 3 years from this faculty. Zero support or empathy from the administration, despite knowing I qualified in 2018, but choosing to do nothing about it and profiling and gaslighting me instead. And they did this for the sheer and regenerate desire of it. And Winnie Kamau was the worst of them all, despite having a voice and demeanor that personifies helplessness. A person who has never been and will never be my equal as an academic, whether in terms of quantity or quality or whatever other metric. So I will not pretend here to accept any so-called congratulations from individuals who stood by and cheered when I was being oppressed. You know yourselves, I do not do fake. Please keep your fake messages of congratulations to yourself. Migai, you see, this it's clearly it is dawning on us that University of Nairobi is a cesspit, is a cesspit of academic toxicity. Because if somebody has qualified, why would you go out of their way to block them? Why would you expend unnecessary energy? You see, this is a problem with Kenya. Our productivity is suppressed. Because all of you are thinking that for you to gain, you must block the other person. For you to win, the other person must lose. The idea of coexistence, the idea of mutual benefit does not occur. This competitiveness, you know, when you are a child, you are competing on who will win, Bano, Banye. This is not now, this is beyond that. This is now real life. This is not a simulation. You have to get that in your small brains. That you go around blocking people, you go around besmirching people because you yourself are unable to achieve the same heights. You are unable to even accomplish anything on your own. You just rely on pulling others down, talking smack about those who have taken the initiative, those who have competed, which is why now corporate Nairobi is not the best place to work, because even you look at the people who are employed in your environment, it's a toxic environment, but the biggest bootlicker is the one who is employed, the guy who is the biggest snitch. The guy who snitches all the time, that's the guy who gets the hearing, especially if your boss is a Muzungu, because this is a seed sowed by the Muzungus. The Muzungus, to divide and rule the Africans, they came and got the biggest of the most pathetic of individuals, and then they made them to be home guards. They made them to be chiefs. They made them to be headmen. Those are the people who have the trait of oppressing, so that if anyone exceptional emerges, then you are suppressed. You're suppressed by the people who've been the gatekeepers, who've been appointed by Mbuzungu. So you have to emancipate yourself in 3D, 360 degrees, man. You have to start now. When you block, do you think blocking Professor Migai Aketch, did you achieve your objective? Did he not become a UON professor? People, you have to grow up, man. Kenyans, you have to grow up. Our value system has to change. We have to be, and we have to promote, and we have to elevate, and we have to recognize merit. We normally, when somebody dies, that's when you guys on Twitter, I saw a guy called Dre. When he died, that's when everyone was tweeting about him. And when he was alive, you never gave him his flowers. You never bothered to check on him. That's why even when he was tweeting about suicide, you guys were just thinking it's another day in the office. It's the value system. So and I encountered these where I just spoke about, Mr. Beast. I spoke about, I don't like this model, because Muzungus, they come, they want to extract in bulk and then give us back as handouts, a fraction in handouts, and then they come with the PR, they come with cameras, they come with lights, and then you guys are carried away by it. Yet these guys have been profiting from our sweat, from our pain, from our land, from our resources. They come here like now World Bank and IMF are passing laws, are influencing this hopeless Kenya Kusha regime to pass laws that are going to make it punitive, that are going to kick out SMEs from business, local industries from business. World Bank through IFC have invested in the independent power producers, which are leading to increase in our power rates, kicking out so many people. Even you are not able to buy tokens in your homes because who is the ultimate beneficiary? It's the Muzungus. They have a few local henchmen. They have a few political scumbags, people like Gideon Moi, Nicholas Biwott family, Samuel Gishuru. They have those people who are benefiting. They are getting scraps, but the most of the money is leaving the country. Why? Because they want to condemn us to be importing their stuff. They want us to be importing toothpicks, to be importing milk. So it's in their interest to destroy you. And you are there listening to David D. David D has admitted that he's an agent of the IMF and the World Bank. He was there when Moi was signing off this economy. He was mortgaging our economy to World Bank and IMF. Through the structural adjustment programs. They are making a comeback through Ruto. I told you Kenya Kusha and the Moi regime, there is no difference. Moi is the one who mentored Ruto. He's the one who mentored Rigiji when he was a DO. And these guys have nothing new to offer. That's why they are reverting back to the blueprint of Moi, where they think that opening the doors to World Bank and IMF will somehow redeem their tattered image, because they know they don't have support. Did you see Kipchumba Murkomen being heckled in Kabarnet? People have been telling us that Rift Valley is with Ruto. No, this is 2027. You're going to see. Just watch Kipchumba Murkomen. Kipchumba Murkomen, you can see him there. He's the connoisseur of the fine things in life. He's he's been employed. He's been appointed as a CS. He's bought a Hublot watch. He's bought Gucci shoes, very expensive stuff. And he thinks we don't know where this money is coming from. He thinks we don't know these are kickbacks from tenderpreneurs and all these contractors who want projects, who want tenders. He thinks we cannot connect the dots. He thinks that the ordinary Mwananchi cannot tell that him, Davis Chirchir, and this whole government are behind our misery. No, you steal, but don't go to pretend to address people. Now, sports is an industry. Sports can create jobs. Sports can thrust Kenya to greater heights of prosperity. But here he is at a tournament, pretending to sponsor a tournament because they have a boomer mindset, because they are stupid like boomers, the boomers that they are. They only see sports as a tool for political gesturing and to go there to make third grade statements, and then you throw some money to use there. You see sports as CSR, not as an industry. The Europeans have done so. We are consuming their sports every day in the weekends on the TV. You don't want to do the same because you don't want to put in the work. You don't want strategic planning. You don't want to invest. You don't want to be consistent. You want to be showing up at random tournaments like this. This is what you MPs and governors and whatever are doing. You don't want to see that the sports can create jobs. You're blinded from that reality because of your inherent stupidity. Either you guys, you piss us off, and so you will not come to vomit on our shoes. You will not come to address us. We will not allow you to address us and insult our collective intelligence. Who the hell do you think you are? Murkomen, steal your money and stay, hide there. Nobody wants to hear from you. Nobody wants to hear your 2 cents. Hey, nobody wants to hear your 2 cents. Speaking of sports, it's unfortunate that we are so driven by hate. When I was talking about Professor Migai Aketch, and I tried to relate with my experience in football. You see, when Nick Mwendwa got into the office, he's supposed to be young, connecting with other young people, and taking our football to greater heights. I imagine these challenges exist in all other sporting disciplines, in rugby, in athletics. We had the other day that and you guys didn't want to even entertain that idea that Eliud Kipchoge has been gatekeeping for and blocking other athletes who are faster than him. This is the mindset of old people. Don't be like them. Don't be like these people who have the residue of colonialism, because colonialism is structured, and white supremacy is structured to suppress any form of merit, to create a semblance of prosperity based on metrics that are flawed. So you're going to think that you have the best athletes because this one keeps winning, but we could do better. We could nurture better athletes. We could nurture better entrepreneurs. When I criticized Mr. Beast, there's some guy here talking in Kikuyu. You can tell he's an intellectual dwarf because of his talking points, mostly concentrated on my physical appearance and I don't know what. And then just listen to him.
They see you not no ate iguale ate tago football expert no cio akwa ate football no thaka mubira kweli we ithirio no hura mbeca cia kuo we akueneta passport ya hura nduonia ndore hana origo we no utengere kinya 100 meter nigo ukote no ari hora football.
You see, in his stupidity, he only knows that football exists on the pitch. Now, football is a game played for 90 minutes. After that, the football industry exists. It exists in form of sponsorships, in form of TV rights to get the signal to watch your favorite EPL match. Everything, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes. There is satellites which are beaming that signal. There is what? There is people, there is gadgets who are streaming on whatever. There is everything. And but you, because of your 844 mindset, and I told you 844 was structured to dumb you down by Moi, who claimed, and he is right, that he is going to rule for 100 years, not because he's going to put in place measures to ensure that you're going to prosper, but because of dumbing you down, because of extreme retardation. This is the manifestation. I'm not the one who called myself a football expert. They call me football experts. The Muzungus you guys worship, they call me a football expert. They know when I speak, even the FIFA president will listen, or the CAF president. You understand? So I'm not the one who called myself a football expert, and I am an expert of other things, not Kenyan football. So I was telling you that when Nick Mwendwa got into the office, he was supposed to be working and converging and with like minds. But now he derives joy. Now they sit down with journalists, sports journalists, football journalists. They sit down somewhere and then they celebrate. We've blocked this guy. They don't think. It hasn't occurred to them that they are blocking the football industry. So now they bring mercenaries, foreign mercenaries. We call them plumbers. The useless coaches who are appointed by African countries have been nicknamed plumbers or journeymen. They just come to appropriate resources from African countries and leave us worse off. Every plumber coach that we've had has not left us in a better position. So now they celebrate. They go somewhere and then they drink and then they say, we've blocked this guy. They drink. They are celebrating, giving a foreigner the job at the expense of a local who can deliver the same, if not better, because this is self-hate. This is self-hate. It has been imprinted. It has been forced on you. It is encoded in your DNA and embedded there, so that you can hate yourself. You can hate anything that comes your way, which is why we are being mortgaged to the IMF and the World Bank. I saw the media house giving a platform to the World Bank country director to spew his nonsense. What is he talking about? We should be deporting these guys. They are destroying our economy. They are relaying the wrong information to their mother headquarters or what, and they are actively participating in the destruction of Kenyan enterprise. So self-hate begins with the Ruto regime, begins with all of you guys who want to bring each other down. You want to bring the other person down because 844 taught you that we are all equal. We are not all equal. I am not equal to someone else who can do better. But you're there. You are hating on somebody just because they aspire to do better. Just because this guy has taken the initiative to go and get a PhD, then you're pulling him down. When we should be opening the doors, which is why the Americans will always remain ahead. They will, if Elon Musk is the genius, they will create a suitable, conducive environment for him to thrive. And then the benefit will be felt fast by the American establishment before it spreads to the other part of the world. Look at in Kenya. Anyone who is smart, you get straight A's immediately. You know you're getting in a flight. You have scholarships to American universities, to whatnot. They want the brains. And here, what do? We kick away the brains. We hate on them because you follow a flawed religion. If you look at your religious leaders, they are intellectual dwarfs. If you listen to their preachings, they are devoid of any science or philanthropy or even, relatable experiences and examples, because they go there, they start preaching, you're wondering and that's how they've been able to confuse you to vote for your oppressors all the time. Ruto and Uhuru have been anchored by the corrupt clergy. You understand? The clergy were always frequenting State House to do what? What do they know? Have they ever opened an industry? Do they know what it takes to run a business? Why are they purporting to appoint the government? No, it's because they need to reinforce the myth that leaders are chosen by God, and we can tell that these are not godly leaders. These are demonic figures. The greed, the wanton looting and corruption and everything in between. We were talking about the loans that have been accrued by this government, $23 trillion in the last 10 years. 23 trillion. The cost of dueling Mombasa Nairobi highway to make it a super highway with 6 lanes is 300 billion. The cost of dueling and making a super highway between Rironi and Mau Summit is 160 billion for 60 billion. When we had 23 trillion, they didn't finish any project. Now you saw the contractor of the Kenol Sagana Marwa Road. He has downed his tools. Why? Because he hasn't been paid. So even with that 23 trillion, they didn't pay him in that financial year. So where did all this money go? Oh, why would you stand there and claim that Uhuru was a genius or he was the best next thing after sliced bread? When you open such mouths, I told you you're suffering from daddy issues. You are looking. Because you had inappropriate relations with your fathers, irresponsible fathers, now absentee fathers. You're looking for your fathers in failed politicians. You're suffering from a mutated strain of Stockholm syndrome. You have to use your brains when you open your mouth, when you use your clout on social media, and we are going to call you out. There is this guy called BILLOW. BILLOW, he was the shadow minister for finance during the Kibaki regime. He was also the senator of Mandera, if I'm not wrong. And so I tweeted a post, and I said that Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera have received a total of 247 billion in devolution funds. That means KERROW, that means CDF, that means county money. What have they done with this money? It's flooding now. Garissa is marooned. It is now an island. Have they done anything to trap that water? Have they done anything to create a dam? What is the cost of making the dam that was Aror and Kimwarer? It is only 20 billion. That is all they could have done. They could have jointly worked on a dam that will trap all this water. But here they want to now cry to national government, go to State House, and then create a public furor that it's a national problem. Tribalism tumemaliza. We have seen 4 trillion devolved money. Everyone always thought that the problem is this tribe and this tribe, because you always want, especially us in Central Kenya, we are tired of all the time being labeled that we are behind your misery. You vote for idiots, you vote for thugs. Their work is just building malls and flats in South Sea, in Eastleigh, in Pangani. And then now you come and say, hey, all the money is going to Mount Kenya, all the money is going to Mount... Let's do an analysis. Let's do an analysis. I think like Dakaine Dam. It is in Dakaine, it is in Gatanga constituency. It doesn't help the people of Gatanga, doesn't help the people of Mount Kenya. All that water goes to Langata. We talk about Sasimua Dam. We talk about the Sasimua Dam also feeds Nairobi. We talk about the Northern Collector Tunnel. It is exclusively for the Northlands estate by the Kenyatta family criminal enterprise. Has it helped the people of Mount Kenya? So just because a few elites are stealing and projecting it as if it's on us, no, it's you will not ride on that narrative again. You will not use it when you get a microphone. Like now, the coastal leaders, anytime they get a microphone, they're like, well, watukabara ndio watukabara ndio wanatunyanyasa, wanatuibia. And then you're seeing them simping for every 1-0 that they come across. We will not be the guinea pigs in your narratives. We have seen devolution. We have seen how much money you're getting. We know. Like now here, BILLOW came to troll me. Look at this tweet. I had said that Garissa had received money to 47 billion and whatnot. And then now he came. Na hiyo akili ni kidogo ndio itakupeleka bunge. Profiling communities won't help you. Find out why your cousins didn't tarmac the main road. Blah, blah, blah. In all these years that they ruled and looted this country. Look around your villages. They are all tarmac. Look around Nairobi. They own most of the city investments. Think beyond your nose. Now, the document which I was citing was drafted by BILLOW KERROW himself 3 years ago. But me, I'm a smart guy. I wanted to tag him immediately, but I knew he's going to rock up with that nonsense because BILLOW KERROW used to be very sober. They got to him somewhere or another because at the end of the day, everyone has a price. His price he can be bought with a few thousand shillings to switch to lose his common sense. This figure you can see over here, which I've attached over there. You can see Mandera. How much have they received in that is 2021, 2013 to 2021? 95 billion. Wajir 85 billion. Garissa 70 billion, total 247 billion. That was done, this tabulation was done by BILLOW KERROW. And do you know why it is so? He must have spent a whole day doing this research. Because if you go and look for the county remissions, the money that has been remitted to the counties, if you go to research, they are embedded with a lot of lies because the Office of the Auditor General, the Commission of Revenue Allocation, the Budgetary Committee, all of those guys, they don't want you to know how much money is coming to your counties. They want to make it difficult for you. For you to audit your own governors, your own MPs who have received devolution funds. They want, so he must have spent a whole day doing this research. And by then he was lamenting about corruption. I think now when they saw he's talking too much, then they decided, let's compromise him. So he came to troll me, and I told you, Mr. BILLOW KERROW, next time you come again, I'm gonna end your career. I'm gonna end your career, man. When I open the problem is you've been engaging intellectual dwarfs from Mount Kenya for so long. Now, the MPs and the senators and the leaders from Mount Kenya, they know very well what they are stealing, and they are stealing in the name of the people. Now, our people have been dumbed down and suppressed by, amongst others, Kameme, Inoro, the religious leaders. They are the ones who have been they have suppressed. So our people is almost like they've been beaten to submission. They cannot talk, they cannot challenge. We were watching you guys and you're saying Mount Kenya, but it's Uhuru who has stolen the money. It is Kibaki who stole the money. It is the leaders, the governors who have stolen the money. It's not us. That money has not helped Mount Kenya people. Mau Mau roads only exist on paper and in the media. Githeri media were talking about Mau Mau roads. They are non-existent. Uhuru didn't do any of them except the ones in Gatondo. In Juja constituency, Gatondo, those roads have perfect because that's where his mother stays. The Kenol Sagana Marwa has halted. He didn't even finish paying for it. And that road was not done for the people of Mount Kenya. It was done because of Muzungus, the British Army, the ones who train in Nanyuki. Those are the ones, their consideration take precedence over ours because Muzungus run this country. The British run this country. They are not even giving us the same amount of money as the Chinese. Because if you look now, the projects for Muzungus, look at them. Americans promised to do all Nairobi-Mombasa highway, super highway. They didn't do it. Somehow the deal went. Emmanuel Macron, he met Uhuru in Paris. Is it where? Champs, that palace. He met him there and he promised to do super highway, the Rironi Mau Summit Road. Did he do it? No. Muzungu projects never work. The Chinese ones, at least, they work. And even when the Chinese are doing projects, you want to undermine them, you don't want to pay them. So you won't be obfuscating, you won't be deliberately misleading the public gallery, claiming that Mount Kenya, we have been benefited from having 2 presidencies or 3 presidencies. We haven't benefited from them. And those guys are stealing for their own families. They are wealthy beyond measure. We were talking about the loans accrued by the Uhuru Kenyatta regime, and you very well saw how much money he has stashed in the Pandora Papers, in Swiss bank accounts, in American bank accounts. You saw that very well. But then you always want to try and antagonize. Where this is the last warning. We've had enough. Mumetuchosha nyinyi. Metuchosha. Anytime you get the microphone, central people. There is nothing of ours that we have taken from you. Devolution has equalized us. You see, the minister, when Charity Ngilu was the minister of water, she had the chance to oversee the Thwake Dam. The Thwake Dam would be filling up by now. What did she do? She stole the money from her own people. From her own people. We are hearing the story, Thika Garissa Road, where the whatever, the bridges, there were no bridges done. There were no bridges. They did box culverts instead of bridges. That's why Garissa is maroon. Who was the tenderpreneur? Wasn't it a certain CS from that region? There was a tenderpreneur of that road. So musikuja kusema don't be now gaslighting people with community and ethnocentric sentiment. No, hakuna mtu now hakuna mtu akona deni ya mtu. Devolution has equalized all of us. Let it be the last time I'm hearing this garbage from you, BILLOW KERROW. Nimekupatia warning wewe. Senge wewe. So let's learn to elevate each other. Let's learn to observe the news, not to be misled by it, but to poke holes. When you listen with your analytical aerials up. Don't be told what to do by your very journalists. We are in this situation that we find ourselves in because you have been constantly misled. You have allowed yourselves to be tooled, to be fooled. See, ni kama hukuenda shule. If you went to some level of school, then you exercise your individualism. Don't be an idiot. Don't be told what to do by your corrupt clergy, by your very media. You listen to Inoro and Kameme. They just bring stupid comedians there, gospel musicians devoid of any intellect. Have they taken the initiative to elevate their listeners, to open their brains and their minds, to give them new knowledge? No, it is just the same garbage. It's a conveyor belt of mediocrity. The question we are asking, has liberalization helped us? SK Macharia, when he was fighting, they almost shut him down during the Moi era. We stood by him. He got all the frequencies and licenses. He has channels. He has Pwani. He has Ramogi. He has what? He has, I don't know, Mwaro FM. But all of them, even despite the differences in language, all of them are reading from the script from one editor. So it is just decentralized mediocrity and propaganda. They are not focusing on what is happening in that region. They are not going to discuss. They should be doing small meetings and now look at even the social media. Look at the YouTube. You're just following the same creators who are channeling negative energy, low vibrational energy. So has liberalization helped us? Has this access to information elevated us? No, we are still biased. We are still hateful, spiteful. You are still people pulling each other down because of your jealousy. Mko na wivu, mko na kiburi, chuki, haujui kule imetoka because of your poor electoral choices. You understand? If jealousy could generate electricity, Kenya would be a superpower because nyinyi kazi yenu ni kuleta wengine chini. Now, that was a seed sown by the colonialists. Your work is not to bring your other person down. Your work is to lift each other. I see it on Twitter all the time. Somebody tweets, instead of you embracing the idea of freedom of expression, you always, you're targeting somebody. I was very surprised. Boniface Mwangi, who has been espousing some ideals, he's the one who's been saying, I want to live this life, I want to straight and narrow. And when I just challenged somebody, he came there body shaming, what and what not. You see, the biggest contradiction is coming from the people who are the people who've been masquerading as human rights and people's watchmen and defenders of what, but they are the ones who are personifying the very attributes that they purport, the very vices that they purport to fight. This contradiction that we are seeing, we want our politics to be forward thinking, to be progressive. We can only do that when we depart from the ways of your stupid parents and grandparents. They are the ones who are stuck in this tribal mindset. They are always seeing of each other with the name. No, we don't want tribalism. We want our tribal diversity to exist. We want our languages to exist, but we don't want negative ethnicity. We don't want it to be used as a metric. Now I see national cohesion. They come out and then they say, Kalenjins are the most, I don't know, this tribe is the most. No, come on, man. We need to stop thinking of ourselves like that. We are killing jobs. Forget about now those civil service jobs. All of you are being told to look for jobs in the civil service, yet the Federation of Kenya Employers announced the other day that 70,000 Kenyans have lost jobs, formal jobs in the private sector. Federation of Kenya Employers are the people government should be listening to, are the people government should be engaging with, not religious leaders. Religious leaders are going to State House to do what? What value do they have? What investment do they have? These guys know what it takes to invest, to create, to borrow money. They are the ones who employ our people. And then you're here, you're being told, Kalenjins, and I don't know who, they are the most in the civil side. Rubbish. We need to disband those NCICs because they are not serving their purpose. In fact, they are coming to reinforce some of these long-held stereotypes about tribalism. We want a conducive environment where people will create their own jobs, let alone those ones of the civil service. We are obsessing about them because we are deliberately killing and pushing people out of jobs. Now, seeing people, they've relocated, they're going to Canada, they're going to USA, they're going in droves. We are back to the Moi era with one fell swoop within 1 year because of you allowing David D with no honor or shame can come on the internet and say he was with the IMF, he was pushing Moi, he was squeezing Moi so that Moi can accept the structural adjustment program. So they denied them money, or they allowed Moi to loot money, and then now they came to blackmail him because now what happened? Our economy was mortgaged to IMF and World Bank. They grabbed, the Muzungus grabbed our parastatals. They grabbed Kenya Airways, which was a publicly owned company. They grabbed Telcom, and now they created Safaricom, all co-owned by Vodafone. You see, they are structural adjustment programs that it was basically a grab of our resources, of our parastatals, and now David D is overseeing Ruto doing the same nonsense again. Kenyans, you have to be angry right now. You don't have to be entertaining these guys. You don't have to be making them trend. You don't have to be engaging them. We are seeing, we can see what is happening now with Murkomen. Murkomen thinks when he's up there and then he's flossing his Hublot and his Gucci shoes, he thinks you can vomit on people's shoes, and we won't notice. You thought it's another day in the office. You either create opportunities for us or you will leave office, my friend. Father Kamomoa of the Holy Family Basilica told you, you're holding these positions on behalf of the people. The people of Kenya, they have the sovereign will. You run this country on our behalf. This is not your property. You're straddling from city. Now Ruto has traveled to 43 countries or 43 trips. Can you imagine if he had launched 43 projects? Murkomen has not launched even a single project. He's just been going for World Bank meetings to entertain those Muzungus and their attempt to grab our parastatals. He's just been traveling outside the country to China to where? You're not doing anything. No, we are tired of you guys, man. You're a disgusting lot, Kejakusha. And all of you MPs, senators, you saw the Senate last week. You are supposed, the Senate is supposed to be, we were hoping that you're going to be the sober house, the upper house. In fact, that's where you get most of the airtime. But we saw the Embu senator the other day talking like a chokora. And the Embu people went when they were, it was UDA, Kenya Kwanza, top to bottom. Because nyinyi ni mang'ombe, munafanya vile tu munaambiwa by your vernacular radio, by your religious leaders, by your hopeless and retarded parents and grandparents. And boomers, we told you we don't want you to vote in 2027. We don't need your votes. You stay at home.